I think to change a belief system is very hard for a person. Um, and there are people that are very open minded or people that are challenging their belief systems. But it's kind of like that word familiarity is. Like it derives from family, sort of thing. What is familiar? What is familial? What is family? And with that, family brings a sense of comfort, sort of thing. It's familiar, it's familiarity, it's what we know, it's what we're being raised in, it's what we believe in from our environment. And like the saying goes, it takes a community to raise a child. So the beliefs of the community become the beliefs of the child. So it's hard to actually escape from because what you grow up in becomes your mindset, your belief system, what you choose to follow. Now, to challenge that, to challenge a belief system or challenge another person's belief system or even someone's perception of yourself or of other people, of other cultures, of other races, actually becomes quite challenging because sometimes there's a negative reinforcement of these beliefs, or there's an allure of, well, yeah, this person's like really bad, and once again, it takes a community to raise a child, but it also takes a community for gossip to happen. It's like it takes a community for a herd mentality to happen to the thing. So sometimes, like, it's easier to follow the herd in a belief system that could be wrong. And I'll challenge you on this sort of thing. So, what if I said to you that the sun doesn't rise and it doesn't set? There is no sun rising and there is no sun setting. That perception may be askew. I don't want to say it's wrong, but it's the belief system is something that has just been more of a conditioning that doesn't actually hold any weight in reality. You're thinking, oh, the sun does rise, the sun sets, this guy's crazy, sort of thing. And I want you to hold on to that this guy is crazy. He doesn't know what he's on about. That the sun definitely does rise and it definitely does set. I see it rising over the horizon and it follows an arc and it sets over there, sort of thing. And it's like, it rises and it sets. It's like, even you watch the news or the weather, sort of thing. The sun rises at 7 or 6 a.m., depending on whatever it is, wherever you are, and it sets. So it's rising and it's setting. It's going up and it's going down. Now, I believe, from my point of view, that if you're believing that you might be crazy because it just doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't have any value to it. So we have different points of view, both thinking each other's crazy. Now, what if we had a weight of numbers behind that? It's like we had enough of a great sense of population that believed that the sun rised and the sun set, and that a smaller demographic of the population believed that it didn't. Like the weight of numbers, of course. Like, okay, everyone that says I, okay, 70 people said I, only one person said nay, sort of thing. Like, but does that make the minority wrong? And it's not about minorities that I'm talking about, or majorities. It's belief systems, it's cultural conditioning, it's views on individuals. Once again, it's like if there's enough gossip can be quite alluring, and there's a rush of, ooh, he did this and she did that and blah blah blah, and it's like there's a rush of adrenaline and it's endorphins and it feels good, even though the perception of the person is completely wrong, or to some degrees right, but massively blown out of proportion. It's like the almost becomes a myth-like quality, a lie to it. So does the sun rise or does the sun set? Okay, so if we draw back a bit from the Earth, what does the Earth do? It rotates. It rotates around on its axis, and it rotates around the sun. So is the sun actually rising and setting, or is it going away and coming to, or coming to and going away in its rotation? It's just the Earth is rotating around the sun and it's coming to. It just happens from our point of view, from what we can see. There's a line, so it seems as if the sun is coming up, but it's not even coming up. We're tilted, rotating around, pivoting, and the sun is merely coming into perspective and going out of perspective. It's not actually coming up and going down. It's not like a piece of toast that pops up and then goes down, sort of thing. That would actually get into flat earth theory. You would need a flatness and something to pop up and pop down to go sunrise up, sunrise down, sort of thing. So if you are one that laughed at the flat earth people and believed that the sun rise and sun set, I'm just saying. I mean, another thing is that there's a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. That implies that way out in space somewhere there's a roof and a floor that has been denoted by someone that is the top of the ceiling and that is the bottom of the ceiling of space. So therefore there is a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. But when you get into space, it gets more into a 3D realm. There is no up or down, there is no left or right. It's the perception of the person in relation to other things that we sort of give a proportion of what is socially acceptable of what is up or down. And given that there's more people in the northern hemisphere, there's probably more of an agreement, and that a lot of people from the northern hemisphere came to the southern hemisphere. But once again, it's like gets back to that chat that I did on an INFJ discombobulates knowledge, and where we have to associate names to things to make it relatable. But there is no real sunrise or sunset. But does me saying that, does the news, the global population go, we were all wrong, it doesn't set, it's a sun coming to and a sun going away? I mean, it doesn't sound as romantic. Let's go watch the sun come in. It does have a funniness to it. It's like sitting on the car watching the sun go away. Although then again, it's like whatever you love you set free and then it comes back to you, sort of thing. But yeah, it is quite quirky when you do think about it, but that actually is the reality. That is the reality of the sun going away, sun coming in and the sun going away. That's the reality. It comes in and goes away. It's just from our point of view, from only what we can see, that it appears that it's going below a horizon, but there is actually no horizon either, because it's a horizon. It's just a curve. It's rotating. There is no actual definite, like, you don't go out and go, haha, I got the horizon, sort of thing, and like touch the horizon line, because as soon as you get to the horizon line, there's going to be another horizon. It's like climbing a mountain. As soon as you get to another mountain, there's going to be another freaking mountain over there. Like, I wonder what's on that peak. So there's no actual horizon line. It's just, once again, what we need to relate to things. So where am I going with all this? Sometimes to achieve great things, or even just achieve something different for your life, it doesn't have to be a great thing, means going against the social norm, the social condition, the family norm, the family conditioning, friend norm, friend conditioning, boss norm, boss conditioning, whatever it is, and doing what seems crazy. And people will associate crazy to you, sort of thing, because it is not within the normal of what they know. But as I've demonstrated, sort of thing, it's a coming to. It rotates. I can't change the earth. I can't make it any different. There is no actual horizon line. There is no up or down. It is what it is, sort of thing. So sometimes, like, I mean, there was a point where it's like, if you go over the horizon line, you'll fall into a great pit, sort of thing, and people started going off discovering lands. And I guess that also goes into the fear of the unknown, sort of thing, stepping into the unknown, because what is known is routine, it's familiar. So stepping outside of that, stepping beyond that, stepping beyond the horizon line, or people that saying that, you know, that the earth rotates around the sun, sort of thing, back in religious days were seen as pagans, or just heretics, or whatever, burned at the stake, these sorts of things, and our perception changes. But throughout all of our great change and great growth, it's kind of like, this is a very rough metaphor and it feels bad to say, like a weed, sort of thing. There are certain weeds in the garden that do spread of a certain belief system that just take root, and it's hard to change it. as I've said before, like discipline comes from the word discipulus, to follow, to follow a discipline. You are a student following something, but we want to fall back into our belief systems of like, no, it's discipline. I need to punish myself. I need to keep a stiff upper lip. I need to repress. I need to deny. But the amount of denial, actually, it's not a good thing, because it leads you down the garden path in a way. It's kind of our way of enforcing our belief system onto a world that we came out of, but there's a certain amount of pride that sometimes to change or to challenge a belief system means that we have to not admit that we're wrong as a failure sense, but means that the course that we were taking wasn't actually the correct course in the end. And it's as simple as changing a belief system. You can change your diet and start to live a bit healthier. You can start to exercise and start to live a bit healthier. Or you can watch videos on dieting and watch videos on exercise, or watch videos on productivity and never put it into place, sort of thing. It'll always be just beyond the horizon line, sort of thing. It'll never come to you. So sometimes it is about putting that change in action. And if we're using the word practice what we preach on a religious sense, then it is using that discipline to follow what you're actually what you've chosen as your chosen belief system, to study that, to be a pupil of it, and to be quite comfortable in challenging your belief system, and to know that sometimes our belief systems are going to be changing and are wrong in some regards, because it's from a human point of view. It's not from an ant's point of view or anything else. It's from our own point of view. And sometimes our own point of view is only from what we're actually looking around from in our environment. And if you have a lot of yes men around you, sort of thing, then they're only just going to reaffirm probably a negative belief. It's a symbiotic relationship in a way, and they'll just keep grooming you, but it doesn't actually change your belief system. It just negatively reaffirms your own belief system. So sometimes it's finding the no man or the no woman or the whatever it is to actually challenge a belief system. I mean, I like to regularly challenge my own beliefs, so contradict myself quite a bit. It can be quite annoying for people around me that are like, he's this way, and I was like, when I think about it, it's like, then I change another way. And sometimes that's just me exploring an idea. It's like, I don't know how I think or feel on something, because most of the time I'll come to a point of view, or most of the times is it really irrelevant to my life, or is it just something to play with, an idea to explore? So what's the point of all this? I guess there should be a point. I guess maybe, like, my brain wants to say, like, maybe it's like an observation thing, or to step out of a community of yes men or women, and it's a weird metaphor, but like to observe the stars, sort of thing. You don't stay in the city where there's all the light, noise, sort of thing, or the pollution. You step away from the community and go up on a hill and start observing. Like most like telescopes are up on some freaking hill or some remote area. Or back in the day with like Taoism, sort of thing, they'll go on hills and actually study the stars. They wouldn't be amongst the people, and I guess there's a certain point of reflection in that observation of the environment, of the external world. And I guess it's hard to actually I won't say impossible, but it's hard to actually observe the internal environment with a lot of the noise around it. Like, it's hard to find yourself or find inner meaning, or question one's meaning or existence in life, if you're having external noise telling you who or what you should be, or if you voice some of these beliefs, that you're told that, you know, you're a heretic for believing that the sun comes in and goes away rather than goes up and goes down like a piece of toast. So sometimes it's a matter of pausing to go away from something, to look inward and to challenge your own belief system. And then you might see things from a different point of view, or start to quieten those things inside of you that are so noisy that you can't see the world, or you see the world in a negative light. Yeah, so there we go. I'm from Euplosion Support Services, and I'll catch you in the next INFJ chat.